are you okay? Like, maybe go to therapy and then see if you still want to do this.
Around the clock, sports all the time. That's never gonna work. That's ridiculous.
Just remember to have fun out there today. And if you lose, I'll kill you.
This is Talk and Audio.
Seriously, this thing is gonna be a cultural disaster.
Away we go, a brand new week on the Talk and Audio podcast. Matt Robinson with you, as always, in the TCA studio in beautiful but cold Bytown, Canada. As mentioned previously, Rob away this week. When that happens, we tag in one of our favorite regulars, Michaela Schreiter from She's Got Game on the TSN radio network. What's happening, Schreids?
Matt, I've not left my house in almost 48 hours. That's how cold it is. But I'm very happy to be here virtually with you today.
Don't blame the cold. You're happy to stay in your house anytime you can.
That's true. Oh, no. I'm stuck inside.
Appreciate you doing this, as always.
Of course.
I'm curious. We are in that week between the conference finals and the Super Bowl. So I'm sure as a Patriots fan, you were very happy to see Eli Manning join your hockey team on Saturday night. That's got to be a good omen.
I'm still confused. It turns out he's there for his daughter's hockey tournament,
yes.
But I'm like, that's a big hockey tournament. I did not.
These fish out of water moments, right? Where you're like, Eli Manning, like, okay, big star, seen you around, know your deal, and here you are at the Ottawa Senators game on a random Saturday night.
Naturally, I was so confused by that. But no, you're right. I didn't think about that until just now. That's not a good omen. Definitely not a good omen for my team. It's so funny because Eli Manning is the most polarizing sports figure for me personally, because obviously he beat my team twice in the Super Bowl. Not a huge fan.
Yeah.
He also is like a massive supporter and investor of women's sports. So I'm like, damn, Eli. I gotta like you now.
What's that meme that's like when the worst person you know makes a great point or something like that?
It's exactly how I feel about him. And then he shows up at my team's hockey game, and I'm like,
well, the Sens had a
it.
great tweet saying, there is one Brady he hasn't beaten yet, obviously. Here. So that was well done. Look, we'll talk some NFL here in a couple minutes, but you know where we like to start. What are we going with today, Schreids?
Matt, it's a big day for me. I completed, and no one wants to hear about this, but I completed dry January.
Oh.
Exactly.
It is February
1st. Yeah, it's February 1st, so today's the first day that I haven't had a drink since New Year's Eve.
Well done.
I know. Thank you. It's quite an accomplishment. So we perfectly timed put a new keg on ahead of the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So we just tapped a keg of Broadhead's Tangerine IPA, which is kind of our go-to
one
crowd
of the go-tos
pleaser
here local. Yeah, if no one's going to Toronto to get the Canuck.
I know, that's the thing. So yeah, we just tapped that. So that's what I'm going with for my first drink of 2026.
Wow. Okay. I saw a great tweet. That's what you come to this show for, people, to hear other people be clever, because I'm not capable of doing it. But a tweet last night was, all right, I'm going to do it, guys. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going the rest of January without a drink. I made no such attempt. There have been years where we called it damp January or whatever.
Wet-ish.
It's for
Dry-ish.
the show. Yeah, and people love when you use the word moist, so we can throw it in there too. But for the show, Schreids, I have to have a beer.
You're a consummate professional.
This
Matt.
is it, if anything. So this comes from the Whitewater Brewing Company. This is the Fudgy Brownie Sundae Stout. 6%.
Sounds awful, and I think you'll love it.
Awful.
Respect to Whitewater, of course. It's just none of what you said sounds appealing to me in a beer.
Can I just say, I find the term fudgy objectionable. Like, if it had said fudge brownie sundae, that would have been okay. Like, I don't know, there's something about fudgy that's rubbing me the wrong
worse.
way.
It's like worse than moist.
A little bit. I don't know why that is.
Describe it. Yeah.
The
How is it so far?
Super, super sweet on the first pull, like that. I know that's not everybody's thing, but as you suggest, it is my thing. And
very much a Matt beer.
yeah, for sure. So I'm enjoying that a lot. I know you've had the tangerine IPA from Broadhead a bunch of times before, but I'm curious about how it poured for you. Did you get your keg set up properly and it's coming out all right here? Or?
Yeah, my husband volunteered. We tapped it like a couple days ago. So he, in the last couple of days, has volunteered to do some quality control. And he's been, just making sure everything's up to snuff. It was funny. Like, I think it was just shaken up a bit when we first tapped it, but it was super cloudy at the beginning.
Okay.
And then after a few pints, it kind of worked itself out again.
Yeah.
Josh doing the research on that one.
Good guy.
Yeah, I know.
He was not participating in Dry January, I take it?
God, no. No. And I should say, I didn't even really set out to do Dry January. I just, normally after the holidays, I take a little bit of a break from drinking because I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Sure.
And then I got like halfway through January, didn't have a drink, and I was like, you know what, may as well just ride it out, finish the month. I did enjoy a few non-alcoholic beers.
Okay.
Which are, like, a lot of craft breweries now have a non-alcoholic, at least one option. Mm-hmm. So I went and got like a bunch of craft non-alcoholic beers, and they were fine.
Okay.
But it was nice that the option was, the option
Sure.
outside of Corona Zero was there, right?
Yeah.
Because non-alcoholic beer has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, no, it's not quite the same thing. I know somebody who wants to dry out after the holidays, but every year, the second week of January, they're off to the Bahamas. You're like, there's just no way, right? I can't get there. I can't make it. So she waits and she does it in February, which I've always maintained is just the cheat. You're waiting for the shorter month, right? But
there you go.
Whatever works for you. So, no, I've been holding it down for you. I've had more than my share here over January.
Good.
And it's tough because, like right off the bat, like the World Junior playoffs get going and the NFL playoffs it's a tough month to be dry, especially for you with your team. I'm so pissed at your team. We'll get to that. I'm curious, was this new keg really ahead of the Super Bowl or was it ahead of the Royal Rumble, which took place on Saturday, Schreids? Did you watch? Did you watch it?
So here's exactly what happened, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Josh sat in the basement and watched the Royal Rumble while I sat upstairs watching a movie.
Okay.
But when Rhea Ripley came on the screen, he very dutifully informed me that Rhea Ripley is on the screen, and then I came down to watch Rhea Ripley, and then when she was done, I went back upstairs.
Okay.
So I did watch.
Yeah. We saw this event. Don't worry, folks. We're not going to have a big wrestling conversation here, but they did do one of their biggest events of the year in Saudi Arabia.
Naturally.
Yeah, built a stadium in 6 weeks. They were boasting about that. I assume that's on the back of strong unions and really thorough workers' rights. Got that done
absolutely.
very quickly.
Oh, God.
It also means all the women had to alter their presentation, their characters, their outfits. The rules of the Royal Rumble are typically you're thrown over the top rope, and with both feet hit the floor, you're done. I saw, again, somebody else being clever and says, or you're eliminated if you accidentally show ankle or wrist skin in Saudi Arabia. It was a different looking show, and it reminded me, Schreids, one Christmas when we were kids. You're a little younger than me. You'll probably remember these, though. In the 90s, those classic Adidas tracksuits had the 3 lines down the side of your leg, and there was a jacket that went with it. Oh, these weren't tearaways. This was just before that. But yeah, that was the next gen, I think. But
okay.
You could get them in any color. And one year for Christmas, me and my sisters, I got black, one got blue, one got green. And that's what this reminded me of. All these women who have done all this work to get where they are in their wrestling careers. And now it's just like, yeah, no, we don't care. For one day only, put on a tracksuit or something, cover up and get out there. It was such a weird vibe.
Yeah, and then you're just like also thinking about the horrific human rights atrocities that take place here. No, it's totally normal. We're having a good time. Yeah, sports washing is a lot of fun. And not to objectify women. Okay, so what did the men do? Did the men dress any differently, or were they in their Speedos?
Now,
no,
there was one a year ago or 2 years ago, one guy, and I can't remember who, because I still watch, but I'm not as knowledgeable as I am about, like, the 1995 Royal Rumble. But there was one guy who had some sort of, like, satanic tattoo that they insisted get covered up. But beyond that, I think the men are just allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so hard being a sports fan some days, man.
That's true.
You got to just ignore so much. And,
yeah.
And not to objectify women, but God, making Rhea Ripley cover up is just the worst thing that Saudi Arabia has ever done. That's a joke. That's a joke. Just so everyone knows.
I think you have enough cred in the empowering.
I swear I'm woke.
This is it. But you're on my show today, Schreids, and so in that Saudi Arabian tradition, I hope you will not disrespect me as a man as we work our way. Oh no.
You had me on for that?
It seems like I may be in for a rough ride.
I'm in danger.
And in Ottawa, I'm not sure I have the authority to have you like beheaded or whatever happens if you disrespect somebody.
No. No.
I will say this, though. On your recommendation, I this week completed Heated Rivalry.
Oh my God! You saved the show to tell me this. Oh my God, Matt, tell me everything. What did you think? You loved it. Thank you so much.
I need you to respect my beliefs on this, Schreids, because I was offended by something in this show. First of all, I'll tell you.
Was it Montreal winning a cup?
Yeah, honestly, there was a lot of. It was a little gay, the show, Schreids. I don't know if we're allowed to use that as a descriptor. I think it fits here, though.
It was extremely gay.
It was pretty gay.
10 out of 10. Yeah. Extremely gay.
But there was a moment that really offended me. And and look, if you haven't watched it yet and you plan to, I think we're far enough into this. If you haven't watched it yet, we can talk about some things. We're not going to spoil the whole thing, but if you haven't watched it and you're about to, skip ahead 2 minutes or so. There's a scene, and there's a gay hockey player. And he scores a goal on the road, and the goal horn goes off, Schreids. And I'm offended.
Uh-oh.
The goal horn is between a home player and a home crowd. It is unnatural for a road goal to get a goal horn. It's It's offensive.
Yeah.
It's blasphemous.
Yep.
I was pretty upset to see something like this happen. It's an abomination to see a road goal get a horn. It's unnatural, and I can't support this kind of thing, Schreids.
It doesn't align with your beliefs.
It does not align with my beliefs. Beyond that,
it's so funny that you bring that up. Heated Rivalry. I love Heated Rivalry. I could talk all day about Heated Rivalry. But one of the things that I've talked to my hockey fan friends about, regarding this show.
Yeah.
And my friend Ashley put it so perfectly, because the hockey itself is not great.
Right.
It's if you're and this often happens in any movie or show that's about a sport. If you're a diehard fan of that sport, it's probably not going to be a super accurate representation. Sure. And the hockey in the show is not great. It's meant to be a
backdrop to the story they want to tell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The way my friend Ashley put it was so perfect. She said hockey is the setting, not the subject.
Right.
And I think that perfectly sums it up. Because, there are scenes, I don't know if you noticed this, but Scott and Kip, that man cannot skate. Respectfully to Francois Arnault, I don't believe he's ever strapped on a pair of skates. He might be like a very good skater, but he's not. He wasn't in the show. And there were certain scenes where I was like, that boy cannot skate. And it's so obvious. But other than that, everything about the show was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, no, and look, I'll just be real with you. There was some moments there that made me a little uncomfortable, but not to a point where I'm turning it off or whatever. It was a well-told story. Again, not to spoil things, there is a moment, and again, skip ahead a minute but there's a moment in the beginning of the final episode where one player who has come out is speaking at the league awards show. And there's a couple of awkward moments where there's sort of half claps. And I thought that scene was so well done because that probably is what it would like. In the hockey world, there are people who would flat out not clap for you when you went up there. There are people who would, but would do it begrudgingly. There are people who would, it's properly set in the show that there are some people in this crowd uncomfortable with what you've, and I think.
But enough about James Reimer.
In the world of hockey, I think that's a reasonably well-represented scene of what this would probably look like. So
that's the thing. The show didn't shy away. I mean, the whole background of the show is that hockey is an incredibly homophobic sport, and these characters don't feel comfortable to be open about who they are because of that. And it's I forgive me for jumping on my soapbox and entering into a bit of a TED talk, but it is kind of one of the things that's really driven. I love that. First of all, I love that Gary Bettman acknowledged it.
Sure.
I don't care. People have said that He probably didn't watch it, and he's lying. Don't take this away from me. It's the only joy I have right now. The idea of Gary Bettman watching Heated Rivalry fills me with so much joy. But I also there's this other side of me that's like, I love that people are coming to hockey as a result of this show.
Yeah.
And I love that it's growing the game. And at the same time, the NHL doesn't get away with the fact that they have walked back a lot of the progress that they made in this space in recent years, right? Banning Pride tape, banning Pride nights, stopping teams from having Pride jerseys that they wear during the games that can only be warm-up jerseys. Like, the NHL is not... hockey in itself is not a very inclusive space, and the NHL in particular, the NHL is the villain in this story, right?
Yeah, basically.
And there is a little part of me that...
I'm sorry, it's Major League Hockey, not
yes,
NHL.
excuse me. But there's a little part of me that's like, you don't get to reap the benefits of this story when you have created a space where this story exists in the first place, because there is no story really if these two characters feel comfortable to be themselves and can come out.
Right.
The NHL is not that space, unfortunately. And I know that progress looks different and that like progress can come in many forms, but hockey still, men's hockey in particular, still has a long way to go in this space. And it's been a little interesting to see the NHL handle this, and also, fans acknowledge that the NHL is the bad guy here.
That has been a unique wrinkle to it. But I thought it was a well-written show. And like I said, I thought it was important to just admit, as a straight white guy, there are moments where it's a lot, right? Like, but not in a way
fair.
not in a way that, like I said, made me turn it off or go, this is gross or whatever. But this is a show that is showing some things that aren't typically like, I was talking to a friend of mine on Saturday night who asked me about it, and I said to her, is it like, it's an HBO show? And I know it's not, but like that type of show, but instead of straight couples, it's gay men. Like,
yeah.
And so it's that level of like what you would expect on HBO. Sorry, Schreids.
No, it's okay. And I think it's a good point, because I challenge a lot of people who say like, oh yeah, it gets pretty spicy. And I'm like, it's not more spicy than Bridgerton or like any other show where we're seeing straight couples have sex. Like there is a history of people kind of looking at queer sex scenes as being more graphic when in actuality they're not. And I would say that that's very much Heated Rivalry. Like it's a sex scene. It just happens to be between two men. So it's, and honestly, like, I know this sounds like I read Playboy for the articles, but the show is so much more than that. It's so much more than the sex scenes, and it's a really beautiful story. It's very well told, and it's clearly like, taking people by storm. So I think it's an important thing to bring up, because a lot of people will be, if maybe spicy scenes isn't their thing, they'll be turned off by it. But I'd say like it's such a little,
if you're
a small
offended
part
by
of it.
straight couples on TV having sex, you're not going to like this either. Like, it is that. Like, it is HBO. It is.
It's just there are sex scenes,
right?
Yeah.
And this is just on another look. I didn't plan to get to this topic quite as early, but it seems like a fairly natural transition here, for lack of a better term, over to some British hockey, which we don't hear a whole lot about, and we certainly haven't heard the name David Booth in a while. But a bit of an incident for him Saturday, I believe it was, playing for the Fife Flyers. And Schreids, before we get to it, I never thought I'd get to use this clip on the show, but
I'd like to ask you a few questions. 1, where's the 5? And 2, give me the 5.
Perfect. 10 out of 10. No notes.
100%. I guess, look, I'd seen a tweet or two about this on Saturday night, and then you sent me more on Sunday. We're like, we should kind of hit on this. And I went and looked more. I'm like, for sure we should. This is a game in the Elite Ice Hockey League in Great Britain. David Booth is playing for the Fife Flyers, and the whole league, I believe, on the same day is having Pride Day. His team is planning to play the game in Pride jerseys. He objects and says, I won't wear it. So they kind of weasel their way out of it and say, okay, well, we'll just wear them in warm-up and then wear our normal jerseys for the game, and then you can skip warm-up. And after skipping warm-up, having not been properly well warmed up or stretched, he goes out and injures himself in the first period. You just used the phrase, so I don't want to pile on, but perfect. No notes. Like, that's exactly how that should work out. And yet, there was an organization, I believe it was called, Where is it here? I had
Hive,
it. The Hive is right. Yeah.
Kill
Sorry.
Candy or something like that.
And
It's a British LGBTQ plus charity.
Right. And they had been invited to the game to, we were going to do the fundraiser, auction off the jerseys, all of that. And when they saw the team sort of back out and kind of, like I said, weasel their way out of it, they said, well, then we're not going to pretend this is okay. And you invited us here for one thing, and now you're doing something else. We're out of here. That we're not going to accept any money. We're not. But just the way this all played out, it kind of looks good on David Booth, I think. And look, you're not asking for anybody to be seriously, crippled for life or whatever. That's not what's happened here. But you were so spiteful that you couldn't even take warm up in one of these jerseys, and then you hurt yourself. Like, good for you, man. I hope that was worth it.
I do love when karma acts just immediately. Like, sometimes the universe really does work in our favor. I'm not celebrating anybody getting injured, but listen, it's 2026, man. You're being openly homophobic. You can't let a rainbow jersey touch your skin. You're a 41-year-old man playing in the British Hockey League. Maybe check yourself. And for, to be such a piss baby that you'll skip warm-ups because of a pride jersey and then to injure yourself right away. I just think that's the universe giving us something good for once in this year. I've
always loved the idea that you see on Twitter all the time is, you know what? You don't have to wear it. You wear the normal jersey, and the rest of your team will be wearing and now, go ahead, stand on your beliefs. But you don't want to be centered out either. You don't want people to know that you're the problem.
No.
So no, everyone has to take that jersey off. That's the part that you're like, go to hell, man.
Oh yeah, and that's the. I know this wasn't the NHL, but that's exactly what the NHL has been doing the last couple of years, right? One or two homophobes refuse to wear pride jerseys, and then so the NHL goes, well, nobody has to wear a pride jersey, which I don't think that's the answer, man. Let the homophobes be homophobes, but let them be open in their homophobia. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're not going to wear a pride jersey, fine, but we want everyone to know, and you're going to have to answer questions about it. You're a big boy. You should be able to do this.
Mm-hmm. I need the safety of a crowd.
Oh my God, it's just
because hockey players are the toughest athletes on earth. And,
yeah, for sure. They're so tough they get offended by a rainbow. Oh my God. I saw that and I was like, I didn't even know David Booth was still playing hockey, because I initially thought this happened in the NHL.
Well, this
I was
team
like,
also
who is he playing for?
Yeah. Well, this team also signed Milan Lucic, so character's a big deal for the people that
Clearly.
they're we are just days away now, Schreids. It's actually kind of snuck up on me a little bit, but from the Olympics. It feels like we've been talking about the Olympics for months and sort of forgotten, oh shit, it starts this week. The Canadian women's hockey team, along with a couple other events, most of the women's hockey tournament and a couple other events start before the opening ceremony. That is on Friday, but the first Canadian women's hockey game is on Thursday. We're hearing less about the arena, which I assume is good news. But it did sound like it was going to be ready. But we'll get to this hockey tournament specifically in a moment. I'm curious, though, what your excitement level is for these Olympics, what this time zone does or doesn't do for you. We're firing up in just a couple days here.
Yeah, I am. This is a really important tournament because every 4 years, the Olympic women's hockey tournament determines my mood for the subsequent 4 years. So the next couple of weeks are actually really key for me to determine exactly what kind of person I'm going to be.
Whether you'll have any more dry Januaries for the next 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. From now until 2030, this is absolutely determining my personality. And if you watch the Rivalry series, you'll know that I'm a little nervous.
Yes.
Because it didn't go well for Canada.
It did not.
But at all. It really super did not go well.
Leaf playoff bad.
Oh God, worse.
Sorry for
that. So I'm very nervous. I'm excited. This is the main event for me. This is what I look forward to most, despite the fact that it has the potential to crush me. But no, I love the Olympic women's hockey tournament. It's the biggest event on the calendar in any sporting year for me. So I'm very, very excited. It sounds like the arena is done?
Yes. Done-ish.
So that's
done enough to play. Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe
we don't need bathrooms.
Right. Or sweet. It sounds like all the teams will be getting dressed in a trailer outside the arena. That's a good look.
Oh my God.
But there'll be ice to skate on, which is at least something.
Yep.
They said the the one thing that I saw, and look, everybody's followed the story, but that the rink will be done, you'll be able to skate on it, but the building itself will be sub AHL quality for both the men and the women. Like, it's not going to be there. Like, it's, and again, I guess to a certain extent, Italy doesn't play hockey at a level that requires venues of modern amenities and crowds this big. So it is one of those things that you expect when you're hosting an Olympics. You're going to get it to a quality that should be, at least world class, but who the hell knows what. Like, I saw people suggesting, well, you could just go play in Turin where it was in 2006. And you're like, well, that was a long time ago for a country that, like, right now it might be a flea market or there might be school buses parked in it. Like, Italy just not likely to need an event or a venue like this. So I am obviously surprised it was so close to the vest, but it does sound like it will at least be ready to go. Everybody kept saying the men's hockey tournament starts on the 11th. Like, hockey starts on the 5th. There's actually one less week than you think there is to get this done.
I love when people just forget that women exist.
Right.
But yeah, like it's been very funny to kind of follow along because they're like, oh, we didn't know people were going to show up. It's like, you've got this bid in 2019, man.
Yeah,
like you've had a while to build this arena. I don't have my co-host here, but Vanessa is Italian, and so she usually makes jokes at the expense of the Italians in this case. But I can't do that.
Have some jokes that I heard in growing up. My family ran a construction company. Italians well versed in that, and so I've heard some things too, but again, not jokes that I believe I can make. So
yeah, exactly. We got to keep quiet here.
We'll call Vanessa in a couple minutes, ask her to rim off a couple, and then carry on.
But yeah, it has been kind of funny, and especially when you consider, like, at TD Place, there's been a few incidents this year at charge games where parts of the roof have fallen. So these women are well versed in playing in arenas that maybe are not up to code.
Substandard a little. Outside of the hockey tournament, and we'll circle back to it in a minute, what sort of, like, are you, like, if you're at home, are the Olympics always, like, for me, if I'm not doing something, the TV is on during any Olympics, summer or winter. There are certainly sports I enjoy more than others, but this sort of envelops me for the 2 weeks that it's on.
Yeah, same. Olympics are always on in the background, summer or winter, but I do tend to prefer winter just because I grew up playing winter sports, and I watch it all. Like, I can't stand curling outside of the Olympics, but there's something about curling in the Olympics that I become, like, a massive fan, and I love watching it all. I love watching the skiing in particular. It's like I do ski, not well, but I ski, and I grew up skiing, and so I watch these people go down the hill as fast as they do, and, like, my heart sinks. Like, I know I can feel, not that I've ever gone that fast in my life, but, like, I can feel how fast they are because it's so much faster than what I've ever witnessed, right? And, like, it's just that is one of the craziest sports to me, like the slalom skiing in particular, where they're just, like,
one off the huge cliff that.
Oh, the ski jumping, like, that's psychotic. Like,
and they're like leaned parallel to their skis basically as they're taking off. Yeah, no, that scares the crap out of me. Like,
I went years ago. I went to Lake Placid for like a long weekend, and we went to all the old Olympic venues.
Yep.
And they still have the ski jump, like, in place. And we went up to the top of it, and I looked down, and I wanted to throw up for how it's so steep.
Yes.
It is like a 90-degree angle. It is so steep, and I just don't know how they do it. I have so much respect for them, but also, like, are you okay? Like, maybe go to therapy and then see if you still want to do this. But
we had Andy Petrillo on the show back in the fall because she obviously had just put out a book called Just Call Me Andy, which, if you haven't seen, we'll link to. But she was talking about, obviously moving into working for the CBC and how many different sports she covers there in Olympic. And she tells this story about speaking to an athlete who was telling her the story of, like, women for the longest time couldn't do that ski jump. That just wasn't permitted. And legitimately, one of the very early reasonings that was given was they were afraid a woman's uterus would fall out on landing. And I was like, this is the world we live in, eh? Like, this
is why men shouldn't be in charge of making decisions about women's bodies.
Like, I would have been, great, fine. That's the excuse. I don't have to do this. Like, don't make women do this. I don't know why men are doing this. This is crazy. So, yeah, that one, I'm not as much into the skiing. For me, I love both long and short track speed skating. Like, the long track is obviously a different vibe. Like, you can almost see the acid setting into their thighs as they're going around. But the short track that's just chaos, especially the relays where people are tripping each other up and what. Like, that's insane. I love watching that. I'm the same with you as on curling. Like, normally it doesn't really grab me, but during the Olympics, that guy's wearing the maple leaf. I'm gonna watch this, right? So I'll get big into it. It'll be my personality here for the next 17 days or whatever it is. I'm really pumped. You mentioned the hockey tournament, though, and how Canada did versus the United States. Losing both games to the U.S. at the World Championships last year, losing all the games in the rivalry tour leading up to this. I know we're supposed to take comfort in Troy Ryan saying this was about us testing people and getting some, and there's evidence to back that up. Like, there was lots of veterans left at home for some of these games. You and I texted a little when the roster was announced. I thought it was a little old, and it clearly is a little old, but I think you pushed back on me a bit against, some of the names that I was arguing. What did you think of the roster itself that Canada has selected?
I wish I had my notes in front of me because I did make a ton of notes about the ages of these players. But if I'm recalling correctly, I think there are 6 players under the age of 25 or under. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's, while the Americans certainly went for youth and they've got 7 players in the NCAA, Canada's approach was very clearly, what have you done at the professional level? Because we have that now, right? We have a league with the best players in the world where you can assess how these players have played against the best competition in the world. And I feel like Canada's approach was, how have you performed in the PWHL? And really, that's it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fair criticism to say, like, they definitely went for experience. They definitely went for the veterans. And if, we saw the majority of this roster, some changes, but the majority of this roster in the rivalry series, and it didn't go well. No. But, to kind of reference some of the younger players that people were upset who weren't named, like Danielle Serdachny, all respect to her, just has not really shown the same level of she hasn't been able to perform at the PWHL level. Let's be honest. She's in her second year. She's still kind of finding her footing.
I think she has 4 points just since the team was named. Like, that's not, like, you haven't exactly made them go, ooh, shit, we've made a mistake here. And she was one that I had hoped, based on her international history, right? She has scored in big games internationally for Canada. But you're right to point out, it hasn't been a good year for her in the PWHL. And we haven't always had that to lean on. We do now. And so it's a reasonable judgment point, or judgment point's not a thing, but whatever. It's a reasonable thing to judge her on. Yes. That's
like I think she's got 12 points in 44 games between last year and this year at the PWHL level. Like, that's not, and like, she had really great world championships a couple years ago. She scored in the gold medal game. She was one of their best players. Awesome. That was still one tournament a couple years ago. And now we've got a year and a half of professional hockey to judge. And I think it's a fair argument to say that she wasn't used properly here in Ottawa, but she also hasn't really done much in Seattle. That's 4 points in 14 games. Like,
at some point, it's not usage anymore, right? Once a couple of coaches have seen the same thing out of you. What did you think of Joss Larocque?
Okay, so I'm biased. She plays for Ottawa. Yep. I'm a huge fan of Jocelyn Larocque. She is, and I'm a 36-year-old woman, so I happen to think that 37 is actually quite young, guys. So you can chill on that one. But no, like, obviously she is on the back half of her career, and I understand probably. That.
Was that not helpful?
Yeah. No. I understand the criticism of, like, hey, she's getting older, and is it smart to have her here? And then I read Haley Salvian wrote an article kind of breaking down the team, and she mentioned that according to Dom Lucian's model, Dom Lucian, way better at math than me, she is still in, like, the top 8 defensemen in the defenders in the PWHL right now. Like, she is still a very good defender who is producing and doing her job. So when I read that, I was like, okay, well, clearly she's better than a lot of us think. And she's a defender. So it's harder to look at her points, for example, and go, hey, she's not producing points wise. Well, that's not her job. But I think she still had something like 3 or 4 points in the rivalry series, which no one did anything in the rivalry series. No. But she's still producing. She's still able to support this team and like play a role here. So I understood the concern, and I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting at first. But then once I read that article, I was like, okay, she's clearly still very good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just, I look at some of these, like Katie Tabin, I'm sort of like, you're not even playing top pair in Montreal, right? Like, there's just some choices where, I think one of the ones you and I disagreed on when we were texting was I would have liked to have seen Mika Zandihart on this team. I know she had been struggling a bit at the time they made the selection, but I think the load she's been carrying for New York, is just a different than Katie Tabin, who's on the second pair in Montreal, and you're kind of like it's hard to even out. Like, how good are you? Like, yeah, your numbers look better, but in a second pair, more sheltered role than someone who's out there on the top pair facing everybody's top players. And this is the same thing. Like, we did a show a week or so ago. For me, the conversation or the comparison between for Joss Larocque was Drew Doughty. And you like the experience. You like the fact that he's been there before. He's done this a lot. And in big moments, he can still show that he can play. But I think there was probably a younger, faster. And look, I think one of the problems I look at with this Canada roster is it's not just older, it's also smaller, and in a lot of places I think it's slower. Like, and I don't know if you can be all three, right? Like, at the same time, that's a lot to ask. Anything can happen in a one-game playoff. We've seen that all the time. I always think back to 2002 when Canada had lost, 8, 12 in a row against the Americans going in and then won the gold medal. So when I say, for me, I think the Americans are the favorites, and I don't think that's a crazy opinion. I don't think it's like an 80-20 favorite. I think that means it's like 55-45 or, 60-40, because it's always crazy. But I look at, there's just a couple of picks where I'm kind of like, I don't know. I think, but I'll defer to you. Like, you certainly follow this closely. I follow it more closely than I ever have. As you point out, now we have the PWHL that allows us to have these debates with more statistical evidence to back up our cases. But I do worry a little bit about it because the women's hockey tournament is right there as one of the very tip-top things I watched during an Olympics. And yeah, I there was something about that roster that just made me go, I'm uncomfortable. That's all.
I don't know. I know the rivalry series was concerning to a lot of people, but like you said, this has happened twice before where we've had exhibition tournaments leading up to the Olympics. Canada has lost every single game in 2002 and 2010, and they still won the gold medals in those situations.
Right.
So I try not to put too much stock in that. And I think that, we could nitpick this roster, but, it's the same thing when we're talking about Canada, we're talking about hockey and rosters. No matter what, this is an all-star team. Mm-hmm. This is still an all-star team, right? We could split hairs. We could get into the nitty-gritty about who should be on the third. Oh yeah. Who should be on the third pairing defense line, and I totally agree with that. But at the same time, I'm not overly concerned. One of my biggest concerns, I'll be honest with you, is Sarah Nurse, because she's been injured. She's obviously back now. At the time that she was named to the roster, she was still on the IR, and then she came back 2 days later. But I'm hoping that she's better. You come back from injury, you're not always 100%.
You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah.
So I thought maybe they'd bring an alternate just in case. But you've got so many young stars. And she's coming off an
Olympics where she shattered the record book, right? That's somebody they need to lean on. You don't want to be having questions about her.
But they've got a lot of really young stars too. You got Sarah Fillier, you've got Sophie Jakes, you've got Daryl Watts, who's such a talent. Daryl Watts is so underrated, so talented, and so fast, and such a good scorer. Is she going to get the first look, do
you think, on the top line with Stacey and Poulet?
I'd like to see it. Yeah. Why not?
They've done it. They did try it a little bit at Worlds and at the rivalry series. They didn't always stick with it, but you can tell they're intrigued by it, right? Taking a look at it. I don't mind that look.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see it. I still think that Brianne Jenner's having a really strong year in Ottawa, and she's just from watching her, she's not someone I normally call super speedy. She's just never been known for her speed, but she's a really smooh skater out there.
Well, and that was important, right? Because there was moments last year we were like, "Are you?" And even the year before, especially, are you maybe done?
No, she's back,
she's
baby.
Not. Yeah, no, 100%.
So yeah, I'll be interested to see how they play together in the first couple of games. I want to see them. I want to see what they look like. But I've kind of talked myself around to like being pretty okay with this roster. I think there are obviously always going to be some changes that you could have made.
Sure.
When you're dealing with a pool this deep and this like talented, there's always going to be players that could have been named or maybe you'd like to see differently. But I'm
to be real with you,
overly
Schreids,
concerned.
Like the way you follow this, you can have these debates with your friends before all of these Olympics. This is the first one where I don't just look at the roster and go, okay, I recognize those names. These names are new to me, and I'll cheer for Canada. Like, whereas on the men's side, because it's the NHL, I do feel like I can sit down with my buddies and debate the roster and whatever. The PWHL has created that now on the women's side for people like me, right? Like, I understand there are more knowledgeable people who have always had these debates, but now that we have this pro league, I'm watching the same games everybody else is. I can have an opinion like anyone else, and that debate is half the fun of being a sports fan. Like, I wouldn't have taken that sixth defenseman, or I would have, substituted out this third goaltender. Like, those things are fun to me, right? And it's half the beauty of leading up to the Olympics. We didn't have this before, or at least people like I or myself didn't have this before until the PWHL, and I think that's an extra fun little wrinkle here that the league's created.
I think it's also been easier for the national teams to put their rosters together with that, right? Like, we didn't have the PWHL before, so you're going on how have these players competed in college? How have these players competed in the PWHPA, which was really just
sort of
kind of exhibition tournaments.
Yeah.
And the States, like I said, they went for the youth angle, and they have 7 players in the NCAA, which they have a really, really good crop of young players like Abby Murphy. But at the same time, the NCAA is not the PWHL.
No.
It is not the best level. You are not competing against other professionals who have been doing this for years. You're competing against other like very young people. So while everyone's jumping to, oh, America's going to kill us because they're so much younger, I'm like, yeah, but their players, those 7 players are not playing against the best players in the world. Mm-hmm. Whereas every single one of Team Canada's, I think, do they have any players from college? I don't think so. They are all playing against the best players in the world. So I'm a little also like kind of calmed by that. Like these players have been tested against the best competition there is.
Last thing on this, because you just mentioned a name that I'm going to steal from you, because it was the one I outside of Team Canada, one player that you're excited to see at this level. And for me, it is Abby Murphy. Like, and I say this in the most respectable way possible, like all the skill in the world, but also a little Sean Avery or Corey Perry or something in there that just infuriates you, right? Like every time you're playing against her, she's going to make you crazy. And it's not just because of the extra little elbow or the slash or the chirp or whatever. It's because she's then going to make a sweet move and bury it while you're sitting there pissed at her. It's one of these really unique, super skilled, but also major pest type of players. At the beginning of the PWHL season, when it looked like Ottawa was really scuffling, there was a part of me that's like, well, maybe we'll at least get Abby Murphy out of this at the draft. Is there another name for you outside of Team Canada that you're looking forward to getting a look at this level?
I'm really looking forward to Czechia in general. I think they've got a really good team, and I'm obviously biased because here in Ottawa, like Coach Carlin McLeod is their coach, and therefore we've had a lot of Czech players on this team in the last couple of years.
True.
But the first overall pick last year, Kristina Keltikova, is having a great season in New York, and I don't know where the standings are now, but she's been top 5 in scoring for the last little while, as a rookie, as her first ever year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what she does with Czechia. They've got a really good team. They got Mrazova,
I like her a lot.
Benisova.
Yeah.
Like there's the
I like
Czechia
her
is going to be
less. She left
sneaky
us.
good. Yeah, that's fair. Czechia is going to be sneaky good.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how they do. I mean, obviously the States are always terrifying, and Abby Murphy makes me incredibly nervous. But I'm trying to think of like someone else on the States who I'm looking forward to seeing.
Like Layla Edwards is going to be huge, right? Like we've seen her before, but like she's now another. Is it Carolyn Harvey?
Carolyn Harvey, yeah.
Like,
she's another
a young
college player.
And like they're getting pushed. We had Cheryl Pounder on the show a couple months ago, and she was sort of alarmed by the wave of young players coming for the U.S. and she wasn't able to draw a line for Canada in the same way. Like, well, here's our matching. Not to say Canada doesn't have good young players coming, but she was sort of sounding the alarm bell on how good the Americans not just are, but are going to remain here for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I the next like 5 to 6 years against America, I feel like are going to be really painful as Canada kind of transitions out of this generation. We don't really know who the next generation is, right? Like Sarah Fillier for sure is up there. Hopefully Danielle Serdachny is able to kind of turn things around. And
Chloe Primerano's coming.
Yeah, Claire Thompson's and Sophie Jakes also very young, very good. But yeah, there isn't that same wave.
Right.
And at the same time, I was kind of thinking about this because there was a time where we had Abby Rock as like the next big one coming out of the States. And she is a very talented player, but she's kind of become more of a grinder.
That's a good point, eh? Yeah.
You know, this big, we thought she was going to be like a just unbelievable goal scorer because she was doing that at the college level. And then, you know, she gets to the P-dub and much like everyone kind of transitioning into the pros, sometimes you find that against, you know, higher competition, you maybe have to be put in more of a role-playing situation.
Right.
Not that she's a role player. She is a top player, but she's just not like the dominant kind of next one that we thought. So there is also always that possibility with young players, right? They're so good at the college level because, like I said earlier, like they're playing at the college level. They're not playing at competition that is the best in the world. So it's always hard to see, you know, exactly how they're going to do once they get there. And so I'm very concerned, and at the same time, I'm kind of just like waiting. I want to see how this plays out.
Canada's first game is on Thursday afternoon. Can't wait to get into that. We are also just a week away now, less than a week away from the Super Bowl, and your stupid team is back in it. The New England Patriots.
Stupid.
You have not been in the woods long enough. You had 20 years of being always a killer. And when that happens, you're supposed to go fuck off for a while and feel sad and be bad for a really long time and then come back. And it's been 4 years, 5, I don't know. You're back. Hey, we're in the Super Bowl again. Remember us? And nobody outside of the Patriots fan base, which is gross, wants to see you. You're not welcome back here yet. What is your take on the argument being made that the Patriots have had the easy schedule, the injuries through the playoffs, or is that just everybody else coping with the fact that the Patriots have already returned?
Oh, it's absolutely coping. Listen, I just want to get this out of the way. I got to preface all that I'm about to say with this. Yes, I am a Patriots fan, but also I understand. I get why people don't like us. And at times I don't like us very much because listen, the thing about being an NFL fan is you got to leave your morals at the door sometimes. And when you're a Patriots fan, you're really going to leave your morals at the door. I don't know if you know this about the Kraft family. Not exactly aligned with my morals.
No.
So being a Patriots fan is really hard, especially right now. And I get it. And, you know, we also have someone who was arrested for assault a few weeks ago on our team. And so I get it. I don't want to like us either, but here I am. I didn't choose this. But hey, it was a long 5 years, okay? And
shut up.
We deserve this.
You do not deserve this.
On the easy schedule and the injuries and all that. Like I can't argue against the easy schedule because the facts are the facts. When you look at the ease of schedule and the wins and losses of your opponents, like, I can't deny that the Patriots had an easier schedule, but what are they supposed to do? Ask for a harder one?
100%.
Like, you win the games you're supposed to.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, like, we know this as hockey fans, both of our teams sometimes don't win the games that they're supposed to.
It's true.
And that's where the problem is. So I'm not going to argue it. And at the same time, I'm like, okay, but what do you want me to do with that? They won the games that they were supposed to. I don't know what to tell you.
And the counter argument is also, like, I've seen other people more knowledgeable on football that said, like, through the playoffs, okay, Bo Nix is hurt, and like, but he's beaten like the second, fourth, and fifth best defenses in the NFL this year. So, like, for Drake May, if we're pointing at him specifically, you know, all you could do, like, that game last week would have finished 10-7 or like, that's a gross football game. Fuck that. But
it's not fun.
But they won.
They won.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, they played really good defenses, right? Like the Texans the Chargers and the Broncos all had great defenses, and the Pats still found a way to make it work. I think their defense is really what got them here, if we're being honest.
Sure.
They weren't playing.
Well, do you remember that last year of Peyton Manning where he couldn't throw the ball more than like 17 yards anymore? But their defense was incredible. Yeah,
exactly. Defense wins championships. Yeah. People love to say, "Oh, defense wins championships," but when defense actually wins a championship, they're like, "Oh, this is boring," which is fair. Yeah. I get it. But the Pats defense has been really, really good, and it was funny because like they've tried to say, the people who are saying, "Oh, they had the easy schedule, all with injuries." Okay, well. Yeah, there were injuries, but injuries happen to every team, and you have to be able to adapt with injuries. I don't think CJ Stroud was injured when he threw 6 interceptions. Like he had a bad game. They're like, "Oh, they beat a really terrible CJ Stroud." It's not our fault he had a bad game. Nope. Maybe our defense made him have a bad game. You know what I mean? Like it. At one point,
was it not Drake May had 4 fumbles and 2 interceptions, and you're like, he's not playing well, but okay. But if he's sucking and the other quarterback is sucking, like somebody's going to win this game. Like,
they still found a way to win.
Right. Yeah.
Like I think it again, I totally understand people hate the Patriots, and I get it. And at the same time, I'm like, what do you like? The arguments are getting a little Swiss cheese in these arguments because injuries are going to happen. They happen to every team. Ease of schedule. What are they supposed to do? Ask for a different one.
Yeah.
And they won the games they were supposed to. Their defense has been really, really solid, and they've managed to find a way to win even when their offense was not playing great. So,
do you expect them to win the Super Bowl? Looking at the Seahawks, no. No, I'm not overly optimistic. I genuinely think the Seahawks are the toughest competition they faced. Right.
I think the Seahawks are very, very good, and if Drake May and the offense play like they have in the playoffs so far, they're not going to get away with it. They're not going to be able to beat a team like the Seahawks, who have arguably, I don't even know, I think statistically they have the best defense in the playoffs so far. This is their toughest opponent. I'm not loving their odds.
Which it should
Obviously,
be,
I'm happy
in the Super Bowl. That's what you'd want to see. Yeah,
it's a championship game.
Yep.
I'm happy they're back here. I don't mean to be like I'm just happy to be included, but at this point, I'm really not liking their chances, and I'm just happy that they're back here and that we didn't have to wait very long. And Drake May's got a bright future, and I think that's very positive. The other thing is I can't hate the Seahawks. I hated the Pete Carroll Seahawks. And we beat them, so that's fine. But I love this iteration of the Seahawks. I have a hard time disliking them.
It's a bit of a Seattle sport. This is
exactly. It's Sue Bird's team, and I want her to be happy. So I got a little soft spot for the Seahawks. Plus, I have a soft spot for Sam Darnold, who was traumatized by the Jets and has now turned things around, and I'm just happy for him.
Yeah, for me, I guess I'll cheer for the Seahawks. I'll be honest with you, I can't remember the last Super Bowl I've been this disinterested in. And it's only because I don't like the Patriots, but I'm so indifferent to the Seahawks. They're just not on my radar at all. I don't dislike them. I don't like them. And so it's going to be hard. I'll watch it. It's the Super Bowl. I'm obviously going to watch the Super Bowl, but it's hard for me to find something here to sink my teeth into, which is rare for me. Normally in the Super Bowl, there's somebody I kind of like, a player or a team that I really hate. And I will, don't get me wrong, in whatever my way is, I'll be rooting for the Seahawks. But I just don't care, right? It's not, there's not enough meat on, and even these Patriots, who I dislike out of habit, there's no Belichick anymore. There's no Brady anymore. There's no, the villains are gone.
That's the thing. This isn't the same Patriots team that everyone hates. The ownership is the same.
Yes.
But
and that's enough.
Mike Vrabel, people love Mike Vrabel.
Wrong direction.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. But Mike Vrabel's everyone loves that guy. Sure. It's hard to hate him. Sure. And Drake May, say what you will about Drake May, he's kind of likable
now. It's just habit. I see that logo and I'm like, nah, screw you.
Yeah, it's fair.
Quickly on Bill Belichick. He will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Look, I don't know a whole lot about the way that process works. I guess as long as you get 40 out of 50 votes, you're in. If you don't, you're not. And I think everybody believes he will be a Hall of Famer. This is clearly about punishing him for previous perceived wrongs. But those perceived wrongs are real to a lot of people, right? The Spygate thing, and maybe no more complicated than just being an asshole to everybody for 20 years, right? Like in your interviews and your press conferences, the comparison I draw, Schreids, is to Barry Bonds. Like, yeah, you're incredible at your job. There's no way of denying that. But you're such a prick. And like, you treat everybody like shit. And so I'm having a hard time, again, as a hater, getting too worked up about Bill Belichick not being in on the first ballot. I do believe he'll go in next year or the year after. This is about other people punishing him for what he did. But I'm curious what your take was, and if you were strongly upset or indifferent, or sort of what your take was.
I mean, this is going to come as a shock, but yeah, I'm fucking outraged. Okay. I'm sorry. This is bullshit. Like, it's much. I say this about the Hockey Hall of Fame all the time. Yeah. It's not the Hall of really good guys. It's the Hall of Fame.
It certainly is not.
In both cases, there are some terrible people who have been inducted into the Football Hall of Fame. None of these men, it's all men, none of these men are in there for being good people. They're in there for winning. And what did Bill Belichick do? He
spied on people and beat them. Yeah. Oh,
but he won six. He won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach. 8 in total, if you count when he was a defensive coordinator.
Right.
He went to the Super Bowl 9 times with the Patriots. 11 times in total.
Okay.
He spent more time in the Super Bowl than he did not in it.
Right.
If you
played
over
almost
the
a regular season in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Like, he is the greatest coach of all time. And I'm not going to be one of those Patriots fans that defends cheating. I think Deflategate was absolute fucking horseshit. Okay. And I will die on this hill.
I did not mention that one. For me, Spygate, though, is
bullshit.
Okay.
Spygate? Okay. Yeah. That was before my time, so I'm just going to say I just got here. I don't remember Spygate that well, but I know it was a big controversy. And he got caught. He shouldn't have been doing it. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but sometimes cheating happens in sports. I'm not condoning it, but it does happen. And
we're not going to see it at the Olympics, are we? Almost never.
Never. He didn't win 6 Super Bowls because of Spygate.
He did not.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I understand. I think that's exactly what's happening. People wanted to punish him because of Spygate. I think enough time has passed that, like, maybe you can look back and go, okay, he was good. Like, regardless of that one scandal that he got involved in, he was the greatest coach of all time. And I don't understand how you can not put him on the first ballot. That's pure politics. It's pettiness.
It is politics. And yet I'm sure you can understand why it's not tearing me up. Like,
no, I don't blame it. Like there are so many Patriots haters out there who are like
would be,
smallest violin, right?
Oh, yeah, I would assume he would have been first ballot. But the fact that someone went, yeah, no, like this and this, and you treated us all like shit for 20 years, you can wait a year. Like, is it petty? Yeah. But it's probably my kind of petty where I'm like, yeah, all right. Like,
I do love petty. I gotta say, I love when old white men are petty too, because they can be the cattiest little bitches, and this is exactly what's happening here. No, not like I'm talking old white men. Okay. Like look at.
Well, I'm trending rapidly in that direction.
Name? Who's the guy's name that's kind of leading the campaign against it? Bill something. Polian.
Yeah.
He's what, 85?
Yeah, of course.
Like, you would think
he's going to make sure he dies before Belichick gets in. Like, I don't want to be here to see it.
And like, there's a part of me that's like, I love this cattiness. I am here for the tea. I just it happens to be like, you know, the guy who coached my team, and oh god, I love when old white men are petty, because it's like these are the same people who call us snowflakes,
right? And
I'm like, look at you little snowflake. Someone was mean to you, and now you're like, you don't get to go into Hall of Fame first. Like, it's so funny. They're no better. Like, it's I hate it, but at the same time, I got to admit it. Like, it is extremely funny,
and that's where I'm at. Like, I acknowledge he's a fantastic coach. He's going to the Hall of Fame. No, of course. And yet at the same time, for me, it's a shrug that like, well, you'll go next year. Like, it's quickly.
I am curious though, because I've heard, like, I don't know if you know this about Bill Belichick. He's a little spiteful.
Yeah.
I've heard that he's like, I don't want to be in your Hall of Fame at all now.
Oh.
That
somebody
like,
else did
Josh
that,
literally said that to me as like a in passing, so maybe it's not true, but and I haven't.
I can't remember now. I think Kurt Schilling or Roger Clemens, one of those arseholes.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, who were like, well, if I don't go in first, I don't want to go at all. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
come to your stupid party. Like,
And people say women are the emotional ones, Matt. It took the Hockey Hall of Fame until 2010 to acknowledge that women exist. And we have never been this petty. I'm just saying.
we are, as you and I sit here on Sunday afternoon, about to see the debut episode of Sunday Night Basketball. No, I blew that, Schreids. They are calling it Basketball Night in America. On the heels of Football Night in America. And I have no idea where these names are coming from, what might have motivated anybody to come up with such a brilliant name. They're both, and look, maybe it is just my Canadianness shining through. Neither of them sound as good. I think it's that America has too many syllables. Like it's just a little too much of a mouthful to be Basketball Night in America. Like it's too long. Like it's too.
They should just cut it out and say what you're all thinking. America.
Merca
Take the
ball.
extra syllable out. Merca ball.
Yeah, love it. But we're going to see it's the Lakers and Knicks, so perhaps not the rivalry it has been in previous years, but big names, big teams to kick this thing off. And Caitlyn Clark is going to be a part of the panel. She's not going to be there every week, but she is going to be on the pregame panels and contributing several times throughout the season. And look, this has become a big name, somebody that, frankly, captured. You know how I feel about basketball, let alone college basketball. I only know her name because she broke through in a fairly transcendent way. Do you like this move, for NBC, bringing her in, for her, herself, and like what this might do for her profile? Does she need it? I'm sort of curious what you think of the fact that she's going to be doing this throughout the season.
I'm definitely interested in how it goes because, she's obviously like a huge basketball star.
Yeah.
Because of that, she's had media opportunities on pretty big platforms. She's on the Manning cast. She's done a lot in media, and I think she's fairly good. But I'm interested to see. She's not exactly known for her personality on the mic, so I'm interested to see how that plays out.
And it's not easy, right? Like great athletes aren't always big, big personalities, like you said. So.
But Candace Parker did something similar. She's been on the ESPN panel for the last few years on NBA's coverage, and she's done a fantastic job because she has a great personality.
Sure.
In addition to being like a Hall of Famer, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think it's only good for the WNBA to get more exposure.
Are you any more likely to check out the game than had she not been? Like, will you watch a couple minutes of it or not? Like, is it still not on your radar?
I'll watch the clips afterwards.
Okay, I get that.
I don't. It's not that I don't like the NBA during the playoffs. I love the NBA.
Sure.
It's just I only have so much time in a day. So when I am prioritizing certain sports, the NBA is not on top of my list. Sports. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a huge WNBA fan, so I do like basketball. It's more of a timing thing. But yeah, I'll watch the clips afterwards, and then if I do tend to pay attention to Raptors games, or to Raptors specifically. So I'm not just someone who will throw on.
No, I'm the same way.
Yeah, random game. It's got to be a team that I'm cheering for. So unless she's doing a Raptors game, I'm probably not going to see her.
And
but
the Raptors don't do national TV in the U.S., so I imagine she won't be. No. Last thing then, Schreids, before we wrap it up, the Sens have won 3 in a row, and 2 of them pretty comfortable. And actually this week, for whatever reason, they're the only team in the NHL that isn't playing like every 18 hours. It was actually kind of a quiet week, but they did pound on the Vegas Golden Knights, beat up the Avalanche, and then beat the Devils on Saturday. And it only got them back as close as 8 points out, I believe, as we sit here right now. And that's just the way this division has gone. Anytime anybody who's sort of out of the playoffs gets hot, it's at the same time that all 4 teams in the playoffs get hot. I'm sort of curious where you're at with the Sens right now. I know as you and I traded some texts, it's funny, you can love somebody but still be mad at them. Yeah. And I sort of get the feeling that's where you're at with the Sens right now. Is that a reasonable critique of your spot here?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Listen, I love they won 3 in a row, and they won against some pretty good opponents.
Yes,
Colorado Avalanche, kind of good.
Vegas,
so
pretty good.
That's Vegas, pretty good. And I love any time a team with Carter Hart on it loses. I know he's not playing right now, but nonetheless. Yep. That's
what was it
great.
Like to beat Mitch Marner? Was it good? I don't know. We haven't done it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've done this season. Like it's very emblematic. They've been by and large not good, or at least they've really what's been dragging them down is goaltending.
That's
and
right.
they've been goalies are still a part of your team, but like outside of goaltending, they've been decent. They just can't stop pucks, and therefore they haven't been very good. And then they'll go on like a 3 or 4 game winning streak, and they'll give us a little bit of hope, and then they'll lose 6 in a row or something like that. Like it's just I don't put too much stock into this. I'm happy that Allmark is back and that he got a win, and it was nice to see that given everything he's been through.
Yes.
But I will admit that outside of the hockey itself, Sens and I have a complicated relationship right now. Because again, when this team...
Bit of a heated rivalry.
A bit of a heated rivalry, which is ironic because one of the reasons I'm mad at them is because they signed James Reimer.
Yeah.
Like, you needed a warm body to sit on the bench, and you couldn't have gone and found a mediocre goaltender who hasn't had a history of homophobia, open public homophobia. Like, I know I sound like I'm being tongue in cheek, but I actually am very mad at that because they go and they do this thing where they sell Rosenoff and Hollander jerseys and donate the money to
Who are the characters
Ottawa
if you haven't
Pride
seen
Hockey.
the show? Yeah, from Heated Rivalry.
They donate the funds to Ottawa Pride Hockey, which I love, and that's awesome. We need more of that.
Great
but then
initiative.
it doesn't cancel out the fact that you signed a homophobic goaltender. And both things are true.
Didn't that organization that they were donating money to from hadn't they just wagged their finger, or maybe it was in the opposite order, but like, yeah, like it's great, your fundraiser. Well, it actually sounds a little bit like the thing we just talked about with Fife, but the Fife flag.
Yeah, I saw that Ottawa Pride Hockey had posted something the next day. They were like, hey, this is great. We didn't know it was happening, but this is great. And then they posted something later, so I feel like maybe, like I feel like what happened, and I don't know, but I'm just guessing, I feel like the Sens did this, said, okay, we're going to take the funds and just like manually donate them to Ottawa Pride Hockey.
Yeah.
And then they just hadn't given them a heads up. And then after that post came out, they probably reached out and got on the same page, and that's great. And Ottawa Pride Hockey is an organization that I'm very familiar with. I play with a number of players from Ottawa Pride Hockey. I love that organization, and I love what they did with the Rosenoff and Hollander jerseys. And they also signed James Reimer, who has been publicly homophobic before. Like, both things are true.
Yeah.
Right?
And
One doesn't cancel out the other.
Yeah. Because, look, I don't think for a second this is what happened. But it looks like we signed James Reimer, but don't worry, we're doing this thing, right? Like covering your tracks or like we're also doing these. And that, I'm certain, was not the motivation. But that's the look, right? That's look, we're doing this thing over here, and don't look at that guy's history over there, the one that we just signed. And that's tough on fans, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where as much as I love that people are getting into hockey through Heated Rivalry, it just goes to show that people who watch Heated Rivalry and then come to watch the NHL, they're going to be really surprised at how homophobic this space is. And this is a prime example of how much work we have to do, right? Mm-hmm. You could have signed any other goalie. You didn't need James Reimer. What about his 6 goals that he allowed in the AHL in that one game said, hey, he's our guy? Like, you needed... I get that good goalies are not exactly easy to come by on waivers or to just sign right now at this point in the season, but you're telling me you couldn't have gone out and got a mediocre goalie who could serve the exact same purpose and doesn't have a history of being homophobic? Like, right. It was incredibly frustrating. I found it really demoralizing as a fan. And so, at the time, they were also going through this incredibly embarrassing scandal, and they were losing. And it was just like, when this team is bad, they're comically bad. Right. You may know a thing or two about this as a Leafs fan, but it's just like, it's not just enough that all the way back to the Uber scandal years ago, right? It's just like, when this team messes up, when something bad happens, it's always the most embarrassing way. It's always going to be in the most ridiculous, embarrassing way. And it's so frustrating. And then on top of all that, they go and sign James Reimer. And I'm like, you brought that on yourself. Well, at this point, it's hard to feel bad. Right.
Like, you knew the history that comes with that, the press that comes with that. And, like, I'll be real with you. Like, when he came up with the Leafs, he was, like, the most likable guy. He was an ECHL guy. He wasn't supposed to be any good. And all of a sudden, he's your number one. He's playing outstanding, and he was so easy to love because he was just this aw shucks kind of. And it wasn't until much later where you sort of figure out where that good guy vibe comes from, but then what that's going to mean in some other spaces. Like, we just weren't extrapolating in the same way at that point, right? And once that happened, I think it was in San Jose at the time when he was objecting to a Pride Night initiative for the Sharks. Like, it bummed me out. I was just like, I really liked that guy. And now, like, I'm not sitting here going, worst human being on the planet or anything like that, but you're just... like, that sucks. Like, you can't get there, right? Like, you can't, I don't even know what the phrase, but like, you can't disrespect people's beliefs. And like you said, it's going to hurt you to put this jersey on, the Pride jersey or whatever else. And I'll be real with you. Like I said, it bummed me out. And so in another universe, when the Leafs signed him at training camp this year, that would have been really cool. And not because I thought he was going to come back in and take the number one job back, and it's the homecoming of the prodigal son, and it's great to get James right. It just, I liked that guy. I'll be happy he was back. But that other thing did happen first, and so it just became more of this, I guess, right? Like, it's just another body. And it's because, first of all, I'm also certain there are other people in the Leafs locker room who feel the way James Reimer does. They just haven't been asked about it or been outed yet. But that's sort of the space we live in right now. With hockey, it's just one of those sports, and I don't know. When Ottawa signed him, it's just sort of like there's a storm coming here, right? Like, I don't know when, but like
completely self-inflicted.
Yes,
like, you could have avoided
a shot
this.
yourself in the foot kind of moment, and they were I think they were just that desperate, don't you? Like, they had no goaltending. They were like, I don't know where else.
This is what I mean. Like, was James Reimer going to save the day? No,
probably not.
He's not even mediocre. He's mediocre at the AHL level. He's tossed around from different teams on PTOs because he's not a good goalie anymore. And you could have gone and signed some random goalie, given a guy a chance maybe who's up and coming in the minors. Yeah. Like, you needed to go and get near the end of his career James Reimer. He was really going to be what comes in and saves. Like,
it's the hockey world. Yeah.
I don't ever want to say that even if he was good, I'm not saying it would cancel out what he did or what he said, but like,
if he was prime Dominic Hasek,
you would at least, people would make that argument, or the team could be like, we needed his help.
Yeah.
You didn't need his help. Like, you needed a warm body to sit on the bench while Allmark got better and came back.
Right.
Like, I could have done that. like anybody could have done that. You did not need to go and sign James Reimer, and they went out and they did it anyway. They brought this on themselves. They did not need to do this. And I think that's what's ultimately more frustrating, because it's like, you could have avoided this. Like there was no one was forcing you to sign James Reimer, and you created a something you now have to deal with publicly. And it's just frustrating, because I know that, like, that's hockey, that's men's hockey, and hockey culture's got a lot of problems, and I know that we're not going to fix them tomorrow, but I don't think we're going to fix them if we don't call this stuff out. And if we don't, like people will excuse James Reimer and say, well, it's just his beliefs. Well, okay, these are mine. I'm allowed to have mine too.
Yeah.
And also, his beliefs are that an entire population of people don't exist or shouldn't exist. We're not talking about beliefs in pizza toppings or opinions on pizza toppings or like some innocuous
road
subject.
Goal horns.
Yeah, we're talking about homophobia. We're talking about bigotry, and it's not okay to just excuse away this stuff. I don't care how long ago it happened; it still happened, and he's never done anything to make amends. So
I don't think he plans to. Like, this is what he believes,
because he doesn't have to. Because no one's going to hold him accountable. Yeah. Because the NHL just allows people like him to dictate how they show up for this community, and that's why this community doesn't feel safe here. And until that stuff starts to change, we have to keep calling it out, because it's not going to.
On that, we are.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get so passionate. God damn it!
I asked you the
question.
We're just
trying to talk about fun stuff.
Fun stuff is the Olympics this week kicks off. Actually, fun stuff on this podcast. On Tuesday morning, you'll hear from Julian McKenzie. He's got a new book out called Black Aces. So he'll be in studio to talk about that. Rob will return. He'll do something midweek, which is unusual. So look for that probably on Wednesday morning. Yeah, for me at this point, like. And probably because the Leafs are so trash, like, I don't really care right now. Like, I'm just, get me to the Olympics. Like, let me watch some speed skating.
And a much needed break.
Something other than Leafs hockey.
But hey, like, it's great that, first of all, I'm really excited for Julian McKenzie's book.
Yeah.
We need to do, like that's how we're going to like start to change hockey culture, right? Is by making sure that we're focusing on stories like this, and we're and that we're talking about Julian's book. Like it's important that that's really great that you're having him on. I'm very much looking forward to that book. Yeah,
no, he's been in a few times. He's always a really easy guy to talk to, really fun guy to talk to,
so
and now
great.
he's got the book. So yeah, the book drops on Tuesday. That is the 3rd. Yes, the 3rd of February. So we will link to that in this edition of the show notes as well. So check that out at tallcanaudio.com or wherever you're hearing us right now. But yeah, looking forward to talking to him. And yeah, like I said, I'm fired up for the Olympics. Schreids, what's coming up on this week's She's Got Game? Anything you can tell us at this point? Or
So in the latest episode, the last 2 episodes, we've had authors Ellie Rocher and Dr. Anna Baith on. They're authors of the book Fair Game: Transgender Athletes and the Future of Sports. So this book came out on January 27th. It basically kind of combats the myths and the misinformation and disinformation that's out there about trans athletes. So we had both of them on to talk about it. It was such a good interview. We split it into 2. So the last 2 episodes of She's Got Game, you can check out that interview wherever you get your podcasts. It was a fascinating conversation and something that's obviously like a important topic in women's sports right now. I'll give you a wild guess as to where I fall on that topic.
You hate it all.
Yeah. But women's sports are being politicized, and transgender athletes are being politicized unfairly, and it's something we're very passionate about. We talk about it a lot on the show. So to bring in 2 people who are equally as passionate and really did a lot of research, and the book is fantastic. I read it and it was just unbelievable. So highly recommend picking up the book, but also listening to our interview with them.
Well, we'll link to that in the show notes as well, if that's of interest to you. So all of that at tallcanaudio.com or wherever you're hearing us right now. Always appreciate it, Schreids. I've kept you a long time here, but that's the Monday show. You know how it goes around here. There's lots to cover. So I appreciate you doing this. What's on tap for the rest of your day? No football. So
football.
What
I
happens
know.
now? A nap?
It's
a nice Sunday nap?
Question.
I might be doing the Sunday nap thing. I think that might be.
Yeah. Because it's not like we can go outside.
No.
It's too cold.
It's scary outside.
Like it's sunny, but it's too cold.
Yeah.
So maybe a movie.
Okay,
I don't know. We'll have to. I feel a little aimless without football. So
well,
it's gonna be
buckle up. 1 week left, and then aimless Sundays all over the place.
It's kind of a black hole for sports today too. Like there's not really a ton of. We're getting into the Olympics. The NHL is winding down. The PWHL is done. Like I don't really know what to do with myself. Maybe I'll pursue my passions or something. I don't know.
I'll have to find some and then pursue them.
Yeah, I've got to identify what they are first.
They normally just appear on my TV, and now that's not going to happen. So
exactly.
We'll wrap it up here. Thanks so much to Michaela Schreiter from She's Got Game on the TSN Radio Network. Available, well, certainly on the radio every weekend on your local TSN radio station or in podcast form. She's back in pod form. My name is Matt Robinson. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you on Tuesday with Julian McKenzie.
I've got nothing here. You're giving me baseball and hockey, and I got my keister blowing in the wind. That made me look like a fool here. That's just dumb. I don't want anything to do with this place. This place is run by a bunch of children.